hop into it. We'll get through this together, boys and girls. But welcome back to the OlimoLeague. Spawning here in the top left corner of the map in the round of 8. It's going to be Axiom's own Impact.
The bottom right, ours, the pink Terran. It's Keen.
Yeah, mislabeled as MVP. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. Just leave him teamless after this one. But okay, so we've actually seen some really nice stuff out of Impact lately. Coming up against all sorts of players, all sorts of Terrans specifically. We see him fight against players like Supernova, Marine King on a pretty regular basis, Journey even. I don't know that he's been matched up against Keen yet, odd enough as that is, despite the fact that these guys both actually play in quite a few of these cups.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm a little curious how it'll go. Keen has shown us as well in the few times we've cast him. He can be a little bit cheesy when given the opportunity, but Rax is coming at home, so that's a good start.
Yes, good start. Yeah, I don't think we cast Keen all that much, really. I do know that he's been in a lot of the cups, because I remember seeing him on like the list, but it just always happens that there's a cooler matchup to start us off, and then, you know, we never get around to casting before he's knocked out. Unlike Impact, who, of course, we love to cast and cast all the time, especially when he just, you know, rolls over Marine King.
It's interesting how much those two have fought each other, interestingly enough.
I know that the Impact versus Marine King is kind of like, well, Impact has Marine King number, you know, and a bunch of people have Marine King's number. That's why he's Marine King. But I still think Impact has really great DPT just all around, so I think Impact's gonna take this series. Just calling it.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. Again, Keen's not someone to be underestimated. He does not make it as far as Impact per se, but maybe, you know, at the same time, well, Impact seems to have Marine King's number. It could be the other way around here for Keen. You know, he knows what to do. Maybe it's fought Impact in the ladder. I don't know what the case may be, but
it's possible. It's certainly possible, but no one has as much of a number to give as Marine King. I know we probably shouldn't stay on this analogy for too long, but
it just sounds like he's some boy in high school. It's just like giving everyone his number.
That's kind of what it's like. But you know, like Marine King, it's just like everyone knows who this guy is. This is like the guy that, I mean, he probably thought of the barcode first because everyone just kept on hard countering him, and he was like, "F this shit." But you know, he's greedy. He doesn't put bunkers down. He goes through like 3 CCs at a 14 CC. Like, it's really greedy. Exactly. I think that's too many numbers, but you get the idea.
What? That's like enough for a phone number? It just doesn't have an area code.
No bunker? It's only 4 more.
No, I'm like, that's what you save him as. Like, you know, you don't.
Oh, got it. Okay. I thought that was like, you know, like if you change it into the, anyways.
Yeah, Keen does go for a 3rd CC pretty early, and this is something Impact needs to scout, because Impact's also been the type of guy who recognizes this play and very quickly will throw it on like a Roach Baneling all-in if given the right opportunity. And I think it's kind of that nice mix of, oh, you've played quite greedy, let me punish you.
Yeah. Well, only if Impact does scout this. I mean, Keen so far has Marines out in the field. He didn't open up with a Reaper. So of course he doesn't really know what Impact's doing, and Impact could have taken advantage of that, actually, the fact that there's no scouting going down, but he doesn't. And he doesn't get any scouting on the front lines either because of those Marines wandering around. So, you know, this is odd. You know, okay, so maybe you don't get a lot of Ling in the front anymore, of like, you know, the Protoss or the Terran's base, but you at least have Overlords.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, he's not even got like that one on the Secret Cliff. He did lose one, of course, but it's still like the one on the backside, or even one that gets rallied down here. You're expecting something to scout this, but the scary thing is, like, when we're talking about how Impact may be able to punish Keen for this, it's even scarier to consider a Terran player getting away with greed than it is like Impact punishing it.
Yeah, and Impact's not really being all that greedy himself. Oh, in fact, ooh. Going for a very fast lair here. Scan does go down, but you know what, that SCV, I think it checked, I mean, it's 630, and after that is really when you want to start worrying the fact that they don't have a 3rd, but I don't know when exactly that SCV got that scout in the 3rd, but anyways, like, he'll want to see that there is no 3rd. Hold on. He did see the gas in the main, and he also scanned a gas in the natural. That's a little weird.
Well, Impact's not taking enough gas here to make this like mutas or something weird, so I mean, layer goes towards speed is my best guess, but you know, there's no Roach Horn, right? It's just Banelings. I mean, what, he's just gonna blindly Zergling Baneling online? I mean, seems a bit weird to consider with the layer.
Why? Why the layer then? We certainly see people going for this fast layer to get Roach speed and +1 Carapace. That's a new kind of popular build, new-ish. But you know, usually if you get a really fast layer and a Baneliness, it is for a fast Spire. So okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, fourth cast just came a little bit later than I was expecting. Was all.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of up in there too, but yeah. So it is going to be a fast Spire. Now, we've talked about this a little bit before. It's like really, it's quite good actually against mech, especially since, you know, it not only does maybe some damage where they get Thors out, but it kind of carries well into the long game. Against Bio, it obviously still carries well into the long game. You want to get mutas anyways eventually, but as far as like actually taking control of the game earlier on, not so much. They still have like that 12-30 push out. That's still pretty powerful. They just can't depend on picking up in metavacs at that point. So I think I'm more cautious. And
I think the argument can be added on to you as well. Like, well, Roaches are good at dealing with Hellions or Hellbats. Mutas are even better. So I feel like with the timings of all this, like, breaking down the back rocks, coming across the map, he's gonna hit the. Wow! Oh. He lifted up the CC. Ooh, that wall's not complete anymore.
Oh, this is gonna go really. This is gonna go south real quickly, man. These there's not enough to deal with these Banelings. The Hellions have to. Never mind.
You saying? Okay, Banelings waddling towards the SCVs. I kind of feel like using these on the SCVs might not be the best deal. Like, just camping everything on the ramp might have been a better answer because they would have caught them on their retreat too. But yeah, Impact should be able to not. As long as he doesn't overextend up this ramp, he'll shut down the natural fully and entirely. It'll force Keen to lift. Keen's trying to drop some mules here at the third. I wish two Zerglings would segment off down there just to watch that, of course. But even killing these depots is a real pain because for Terran players, getting supply blocked is a huge deal. It's not something easily rectified, despite the fact that you can just simply call down supply. You never want to.
This is more terrifying than like just plain old 2-base muta could ever be. Like. I really don't know if Keen was thinking that was going to be the case or what, just based off, you know, kind of the lack of scouting that he had. But if you do, you think you can take care of, you know, 2-base muta no problem. You just put up some turrets in decent places and you can get a third base sig no problem. When Impact does something like that, that's when you're just like, oh man. Like, I did not expect that. I expected mutas in my face, not Banelings and Lings.
Oh, all these SCVs are really low from that initial Baneling connect, so these mutas are actually racking up the kills pretty nicely. Goes from having like a very minimal amount of SCVs lost to 16. That's gonna sting, especially considering he lost a couple of fresh mules in that last leveling run by too.
Yeah, and the third's still not able to get down. This is, I don't know, at this point.
Trying to mine off that silly.
Because now the mutas, like, they're not really that early anymore, but, you know, now they're really doing what they would love to do, which is, you know, tearing the Terran apart. You know, Keen did not have missile turrets up in time to protect against this, because, well, only 4 mutas, like, one turret, no big deal. But he just was, you know, first the Baneling attack, and then maybe he didn't think it was going to be fast mutas, so he didn't have anything to help defend, and Impact is just really abusing that.
Well, I think one of the other things too, that wall not being complete was just not something we can overlook, and it's not like the Zerglings and the Banelings went to bust through anyways, but that's the thing, like, he didn't have to waste like 7 Banelings on depots or anything like that. He just got to waddle in and zone out the Marines. The Marines could never then stim down the ramp and try and clean up the Zerglings. Like, a lot of that was just all sorts of messy. Now Impact's, you know, he's a little bit behind on upgrades. He's catching up now, but you know, having that 4th base, having the brute force effect of all of this, I mean, he's in a fantastic spot.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting what you want, which is control. Keen can't push out with the regular timing of 2 metavacs and however many units that you have. He has to wait a lot longer. This does mean that the push, when it finally comes, will be a lot stronger. But of course, by then, Impact's going to have like all the time in the world to defend against it.
So this fun little thing, Impact's had to keep disengaging from these rocks 3 times because I think he's had the Bailey's in the control group. And he keeps like getting very close to detonating them on the wall and then pulls back with everything. Small little run by here to the bottom right, but there's not really that much to catch for it. Normally this is actually fantastic because there's a lot of SCVs, but these Banelings are better off not dying.
Run away, roll away.
If he had Burrow done snuck a couple, and that could have been sick.
You ever seen that like GIF of like what was it? Oh man, It wasn't a beaver. It was like a raccoon. Oh my god, it was like a fat raccoon, and it like rolls over itself to like get places. Have you never seen it? Oh my god, never mind.
Drop of the main while you bring that up. Gonna be actually quite annoying to deal with here. He's got this really sick position to mineralize. Spawning pool looks like it is going to fall. Ouch.
The spawning pool always seems like such like a big deal, but in most cases it's honestly not.
Yeah, usually you've already got the lings out for the banelings.
Exactly. I'd say more the baneling nest would be a bigger deal because usually you don't want to build the banelings until you see an attack coming. So that's when like you're like, oh shit, like I don't have a baneling nest.
Yeah.
Well, I like that Keen is trying to do something. Now, with only one drop at a time, you really are never going to get really devastating damage done. You're usually only used to force, the Zerg out of position so you can push up with your main army. But Keen is just so unaware as to what is on that side of the map that, he's very hesitant to do so.
Well, Muta's coming around for Medivacs. Just going to hit him from the right side, too. It's worked out pretty nicely. Keen is in a pretty awkward spot where, okay, killing the spawning pool is cool and all, but... really, that wasn't that much damage. He hasn't been able to cause much damage over the course of this game. And what I really like is just that Impact's not giving away a lot of the mutas. Even those earlier fights, he was like pulling them one back at a time, playing it slow, playing it cool. He's going to pounce on this drop, no problem.
Yeah. It's a lot of mutas.
Yeah, and they've got upgrades too. All these Marines are already pre-stimmed. Ouch. No turrets up here still for Keen. This is going to be a bit of a problem. SV's going to take that Glade Worm damage.
Keen is getting to that point where the fact that he's not doing damage is kind of a big deal. If he had already, I guess, because it's 17 minutes right now, thrown down a 4th command center, I'd be like, oh, okay, so he plays for the long game, which Terran can be pretty damn good at, even if Impact has all the time in the world. Terrans, we saw Tater versus Sue, for example, but he doesn't have a 4th. He's actually getting more production facilities, and it's just like, I don't know if a push at this time is really going to do a whole lot.
Yeah. That's what I was getting a little bit worried about. There's no overseer with your army, so he's got to be very worried and very aware of where these wood mines are going to be. The muta's okay. For somebody who is behind on upgrades and still admittedly is, have been doing a good job buying time. I don't know for how much longer though, because Keen is starting to get just fed up with it and pushed by the looks of it. Link's coming to the bottom right. Maybe some SCVs are going to die, but the army... Okay, it actually does turn around at the moment. Baneling's connected. I didn't realize he had burrowed, snuck in a couple. Not too bad.
The +2 for Keen did get sniped off. The Banelings, they're okay. Good split from Keen right there.
It's a shame he didn't get...
but the 3rd died. Okay. Yeah, that didn't lift.
Wait, he didn't lift for the Link? Okay, so yeah, 3rd goes down. I was going to say, getting the 2 armors not too bad. Obviously, getting the weapons would have been better in this scenario, but that's a good way for Impact, who's, again, behind on his own upgrades to kind of level out the playing field a little bit. Meanwhile, he's got about half the map under his control. He's got some pretty decent creep spread. I'm actually a little bit shocked we don't see more creep spread, considering it is Impact and all, but... still moving towards that hive tech. He doesn't have a whole lot of upgrades going for him, but again, if you've got a lot of ultras, army supply, and income, maybe you don't need upgrades so much.
We were getting to that point before Impact lost a couple of mutas here and there, that Impact had like so many mutas, a counterattack was almost always going to be deadly. But at 19, it's a little more manageable. 28, 38, that's suddenly just like way too much. And in fact, he loses a bit more taking on the head-on fights against all those Marines.
Creepy is getting cleared up, but there's a large wood minefield. Yeah.
I was talking about Impact splitting. Actually, there's a huge wood minefield. Now that some of them were really good.
Yeah, the Banelings that were poised at that 3rd came in to clean this up from the behind. Both players kind of just evening out on the army supply. Of course, at the end of the day, I think King comes out a little bit better because, of course, he keeps a good chunk of these medevacs alive. Really like this burrowed Baneling too, or sorry, Zergling rather, just scouting and scouting and scouting. But yeah, Keen still not really established a 3rd base up to this point. Gonna tap out. Game 1 will go to Impact.